Hello and welcome to this very, very special edition of Pixel Therapie. I was thinking if I'm going to put this under Pixel Therapie, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to call it a very special edition because we have a very special guest. I have a very special guest today. I'm almost tearing up already. Martin Klekner is in Hexaware Studio. Holy shit, the goat has landed, guys. So
he's exaggerating.
Maybe a little bit, though. You have proven yourself over the years, not as a tutor, but also as a friend and a good buddy in the Blender community. I learned about what you do over Blender. I discovered you on YouTube, and having you in-house now, you know, I used to look to you via the screen, and now you're sitting across from me and we are drinking beer.
Like, that's what happens at Blender conferences. You meet people that you see just in YouTube videos, and then you like make friends there. So
it's kind of crazy, actually.
Go to Blender conference.
Exactly. We will talk about much more about the Blender community, your relation to gaming, what you do. But before we dive into that, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience who doesn't know you? What do you do, Martin? Who are you?
Okay, who am I? Oh. That's a deep one, but hi, I'm Martin, and basically every time somebody asks me what I do, it's kind of a difficult question.
I know,
but these days I make my money as a CG tutor. So I make courses, I release tutorials, and some people learn from what I present to them, and that's how I make my living. But my biggest ambition, what I love to do and what I also studied, is filmmaking, and especially like CG filmmaking. And basically, whole my career was about making short films and personal projects. More in general, it's about making projects that are very dear to me and that I kind of like start with on my own. And recently I started doing this, like, not very.
6
years ago.
It's been 5 years, I was about to say. It has been a while.
It's not recently. So 6 years ago, I finally found my passion project. And that's
actually, while you talk about it, I'm going to put the trailer. Look at this. Yeah. I'm going to put just the trailer.
That's the first one. Actually.
I know. I like that one more. It doesn't give away too much. And I think I'm gonna let it leave on the loop while you talk about your baby, Heroes of Bronze. That's what you were about to say, right? You've been doing this for 6 years. You have amassed a lot of people on your YouTube account talking about this project, and you have a Patreon, which we will get to, and you have finished what I would like to call one of the best short films in Blender history, but you can elaborate on that. The Heroes of Bronze. Oh, it is a loop. Let's leave it on. What is it? Why did you make it?
That's a difficult question as well, but I knew that I wanted to do something like a personal project, as I mentioned. And then I remembered I was doing a lot of projects connected to medieval history. I'm from Czech Republic. There's lots of like connection to medieval history there, especially in Prague. It's all over. Medieval buildings and all the like memory of the old kings there. They're still like everybody remembers it there. So I'm very much connected to that culture. But somehow I always loved ancient Greek culture more. You know, those battles like Thermopylae or Marathon, or even the architecture, the ancient temples, and the whole culture and everything. And I was actually discovering this topic through games. So one of those was...
Okay, this is why I'm interviewing him, okay? There's this connection to gaming. I thought that's a great idea. So please continue.
I'm a great fan of the Total War series. And I played Rome 2. I played Rome 1, actually, the day it went out. Was actually published. So I started with Rome 1. But then when Rome 2... was published, I was playing it since first day, and I still played, actually. I played it last week.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
So that game really influenced me, and kind of like...
That's a strategy game. For those people unaware, that's a strategy game. Total War,
yes.
Rome. Yeah.
So you have like a turn-based basis on a map of ancient Europe.
It's turn-based.
It's turn-based.
I didn't know that.
When it's in the strategic mode on the map of the grand campaign, you're in a turn-based mode. But then when you go to battle, it's real time. So you're
Ooh, okay, I understand. Okay, that's cool.
So you're building your empire or whatever. You're building in turn-based mode, like from Heroes of Might and Magic or games like this. But then when you go to battle, it's all real time and you can command the armies there. So that's the Total War series for me. It's one of the greatest inspiration for this. And then it was those 7 years ago, I think, I was reading this book series. It's called The Long War. And it's about those events that are connected to the film that we all know, I guess, the 300. Those like half-naked Spartans in that.
Thank you, Zack Snyder.
Those guys in that silly movie by Zack Snyder. I mean, to be honest, I love the movie.
Me too. I was about to say, actually kind of a seminal movie if you look back at it.
It's super cool. And even like when it comes to visual effects, it was really like ahead of its time.
Yes.
I think it pioneered like really making a whole film at a green screen studio. So that was a very influential movie in all kinds of respects. But when I started learning about ancient history and how it must have looked for real, it's even cooler because those guys weren't half naked. They had like this super cool heavy armor. They were forming these super cool cohesive formations. And I realized, 300 doesn't make it doesn't look as cool as it should. And I should do something. I should show how the period of Greco-Persian Wars, which is when my story happens and where the 300 movie takes place, I should show it how it actually looked. What you're seeing on the screen is like a first test, actually.
I'm gonna go back.
That I did in. If you know, does your audience know Blender?
Not particularly, no. But
You should.
you should. Yeah, totally. So you made this short film. You did most of the stuff yourself, from the armors to I'm going to show you. The audience, like a little bit of the tutorial, a little bit of insight into Blender, your asset creation. I always tell people it's not just one of the best short films made in Blender, but it's also the most Assassin's Creed style type of film I've seen. It's not very chronologically, as we talked yesterday when we had dinner in Vienna here, but you give this kind of vignette of a warrior remembering his father through his mother's voice. That's, I think, a nice way to put it. Is that accurate? Would you say that?
It's like a story of a son who remembers his fallen father. So, and also the voiceover in the short film, in the actual short film that you will probably show later. Or
the full one?
Not really, but you can show on my YouTube. There is a show reel. So
there is a show reel.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
So it's a story of a little son remembering his fallen father, and basically narrated by his mother. So
it's this one probably, right?
It sounds weird, but yeah.
No, I love that premise. I told you, I love the premise that it's not really the hero telling the story; it's his story. But it's the mother you hear all the time.
The mother is watching it.
Yes,
and,
yes.
She has her own. There are some other shots from my other projects, so it's not all from Heroes of Bronze. But yeah,
that's a good short reel, by the way.
I've been working on this for 6 years, and so yeah, that's
impressive.
A little confusing, but this is what you can do with Blender, guys.
No, yeah, exactly. Yes, join the Blender community. Let me switch topics though from Blender. Let's stay in gaming, in the gaming space. You actually worked with a studio that's about to drop the sequel to one of the probably best medieval games that's been made in the past 5 years. You worked on Kingdom Come Deliverance. We're about to enjoy the second part. I think you're involved in that. Can you speak to that on the record?
Well, it was it was funny because I was working on my student project 9 years ago, I think. And we were making like a tourist app, tourist guide app in Prague. And for that, I was making videos from history and life of Charles IV, which might be known for people from
Charles IV, is he a Praguean king?
Yeah, he's what
a Czechian king, I should say.
Like the only really well-known emperor that we had, so it's a big deal for us.
Obviously,
Yes,
he's our.
originally he's from Luxembourg, but
Okay. He weaseled his way into this.
So he's not really Czech, but we took him for our own. And anyways,
I mean,
his life was the focus of my student project. I was making a lot of visual effects videos based on this topic. And then somehow I sent an email to Warhorse Studios, which is those people who make Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Exactly.
And I sent them an email, not even like asking them if I could work for them. I just sent them in an email that, hello, we made this little project here and we created a 3D model of Prague at roughly the time that you're making a game about.
What?
And I sent them this email, do you want this model? And they never responded. And
I'm hearing this for the first time too.
So nothing happened. Cool. Nothing happened for months. And then the director of Kingdom Come Deliverance, Daniel Vavra, he sent me an email. Oh, do you want to work for us?
Oh, nice.
He replied to that email. Mm-hmm. He never mentioned anything I said in that email. He just said, "Oh, do you want to work for us?"
Nice.
And
cool.
And so I visited their studio. It was back in the time when Kingdom Come wasn't known at all.
Not even announced.
It was announced.
It was announced. Okay, yeah.
It had a Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, right. Yes, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
So it had first trailer done for the Kickstarter campaign. That was the announcement, and people were giving money on that project. And at the time, they needed all the people they could get because they successfully finished their Kickstarter campaign. They had all those goals that they needed to fulfill because of that campaign. And they were growing their team. So originally there was 30 people, I think. And in that short span of time, it grew to 120 people in half a year. So
in half a year?
I was one of those people who were admitted in.
That is crazy.
And my goal originally was to help out with some trailers for the game. You can actually find some of my...
Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that really
Kingdom
quick.
Come, just first one. So upon entering the studio, I just started working on a trailer for a non-existing game because the game actually couldn't be played at that point yet.
Yeah.
It was just a demo at that point. And I had to create a
5-year anniversary trailer. Let's
you can
let's leave that on loop. I mean, you can talk over it.
Yeah. So these are the shows that we made in the end that I was responsible for and that we made with our team. But originally it was just me, sitting in a corner next to the animation guys. And I was supposed to do some videos there for announcing the game. So I wasn't even in the role of animation director or cinematic director.
Yeah.
And only when all of the professional guys who were asked to work for us said, "No way, you're too crazy. This project will never happen, and we don't want to work for you."
Really?
Only then the Daniel Vavra actually asked me to do the cinematic cutscenes.
Wow!
So I was there. I was the guy in the corner. It's at one point I remember almost all the heads turned to me. He knows how to do it.
What?
No, he knows how to work in the editor.
Yeah, sure.
It's not nobody trusted me to do it.
Yeah.
They thought I'm too young, no experience.
Unexperienced, yeah,
but
sure.
He knows how to work with the tools, so...
What tools are we talking about? Did you capture in-game cutscenes, or are we talking about editing tools like Premiere and
CryEngine? Actually, CryEngine is
what?
CryEngine is an engine that the game is made in. And,
yes, CryEngine.
It's not even used anymore.
What?
The only game that uses it at this point is Kingdom Come and Kingdom Come 2.
I'm shocked. I thought this was an Unreal game.
No, actually, do you remember the game from ancient Rome, the Rise
Rise Son of Rome, guys. Oh yeah, Crytek. Yeah,
Crytek. No,
that's true.
Crytek, of course.
Yes. Wait, so is the Warhorse Studios like a splinter group of
No,
Crytek?
They just licensed their.
They licensed the engine. Okay.
But Crytek is from Germany, and it was
Yes.
close
Yeah.
ties.
I played Far Cry and Crysis. My PC could handle it back in the day.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about back in the day. Wow, what a segue. I wanted to talk with you about. I know. Keep it cool. I want to talk to you since I have you here. It's the end of 2024. Somewhat, my buddy David would say, mid-year for gaming. What do you think about 2024 in games, and where do you see gaming like in general right now? Do you play a lot of games? Does time even allow that for you?
I used to play much more. I don't have that much time anymore. But from what I hear, not that many great games come out these days.
Yeah, well, no Total Wars, I can tell you that.
Total Wars, there was...
What's the last one, actually? What's the last Total War that
It's
is
fairly recent, but
Yeah,
the
I think so.
recent Total War game was the Pharaoh from Ancient...
Pharaoh, like Egypt. Okay.
But it was released with some controversy because it was very small, and there wasn't enough content, and the fans really got mad about it.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Is that from Paradox Entertainment?
Creative Assembly.
Creative Assembly,
And
okay.
they did a great thing. They decided to expand the game significantly, like 4 times the size, and release it as a free update. So they fixed the game with a ton of new content, and now it's called Pharaoh Dynasties, I think, instead of...
Let's change the name so people will think and forget about it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think they pretty much salvaged the problem with that game, but still, it's not the same as it used to be when Rome came out, for example, or Attila, or these big titles like this. Those were some special games, and it's not on the same level anymore, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So gaming was better back in the day. Where we are right now, I feel everything is infested with mobile and live service games. Everything is a DLC. Like you have to pay for skins that are almost at the price level of a full game in this day and age. Do you agree with where we are? Are we headed in the right direction, or should we take a full 180 to the past?
I mean, I can give a nice example. I bought Diablo 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I started playing it, and there was this prologue part where I played it like alone in basically single player mode, and I was like, "Oh, this is very nice, very nice." And then suddenly something happened, and it opened up, and I could see all the players around me, and suddenly they wanted me to buy some gear for money and like microtransactions there. And from the initial like excitement, okay, this is like Diablo 2 that I really liked, and suddenly that it turned into a modern game. And
Yes.
and modern, I mean this stuff where you don't get a game that's finished. You basically have to buy stuff, or you have to buy new content all the time. Yeah, I definitely loved it about like the closed up experience that used to be that you can play your game and experience it from start to finish. And if you decide, you can play single player. I loved it. I loved it more. And these days, it's not really that common. That being said, Baldur's Gate.
I was about to say, yeah. It's a nice segue. I was about to say, we talked about Baldur's Gate 3, and I fucking love this game. I would put it up there as one of the greatest games I've ever experienced. I experienced it once with my girlfriend in co-op mode, which is nice. Doing that together, it took a fucking long time, but it's just so worth it because of the characters and the world and the way you interact with it. Did you finish the game? I think we talked about that yesterday. You finished it twice. That is probably if you look back to close out the segment about gaming, if you look back at the past 5 years, is Baldur's Gate really the best game you've played? Is there something else? Did you play something like Elden Ring or the new Zelda games that are more open world-ish?
Those Elden Ring and
Souls games.
They're too difficult for me. I mean, love. Well, I have other like hobbies that I want to get good at. Get good.
Get good. Yeah, it's a meme. It's a meme.
I don't want to waste my time in games too much. I'm sorry. People.
No, you're fine, actually. No, everybody would agree to something purposefully creative that, I don't know, gets you further in life.
I would rather master something in real life at this point.
Yeah, that's a good...
I'm old at this point.
And you can watch Martin, the audience, master stuff in real life on your YouTube page. I saw you have 65K YouTubers. Congrats on that. YouTubers, I mean, subscribers on your YouTube. Congrats on that. Do you look at that stuff? Like your page, you're on Patreon, you're on YouTube. Are you looking at that as a content creator who's got an exposure now? People know you, people turn to you for wisdom in a certain way, especially when it comes to Blender and tutoring. Are you aware of your persona? Are you dredged by the numbers online? Are you driving yourself for more content, or in what state are you now as a creator?
Currently, the very recent situation is that I'm finishing. I mentioned at the beginning that I make courses for a living, and I'm finishing a big one now. And I'm
yeah. Oh yeah, we will link that actually. I will link that.
Out.
Yeah,
it's not even really announced yet, so there's.
Then I don't will link it. Then I will update this episode.
Yes. But it's coming quite soon in several months, like 2 months, and it's everything that I learned at a film school that I studied translated to 3D world. So basically, like rules for filmmakers on how to tell stories through shots and sequences of shots. Translated into Blender, which is the software.
Nice. And you do that not just for yourself and for the audience, but also for CG Boost. Who do you want to give the guys and girls at CG Boost a shout out, telling the audience what they do? Because this is not your first course, we should add. You have done a bunch of courses and tutorials, and this is just the next one in a line of almost interconnected courses, I think. Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of courses on my own, connected to the Heroes of Bronze world, but I also work for a bigger company or bigger group of people who make courses as well, and it's called CG Boost. And there we publish all sorts of topics, from the very basics of using that software to create your content to very specialized things. So one of the courses that I released was about making big environments in Blender. But what you're watching now is a character course.
I saw this at Beacon and I was totally afraid. My mind was a little bit blown, to be honest. It was really impressive, the trailer. And
basically making a character like this on your own in the software.
Looks so good.
And currently, what I do is very soon I will release a course on how to make your shot. So how to really think about putting together composition, lights, cameras, stuff like that. I don't think there is such a course on the internet. Like what I'm doing, basically giving you not only the knowledge, but also making a short film that you will then get, and you can place all your cameras and lights and everything in there to really learn what I'm trying to get across in the course. I haven't seen a type of course like this at this extent, so we'll see.
Damn, what?
We'll see how it goes.
Wow. Okay. I think we will draw to a close at this episode. I just want to shout out, obviously, your Patreon, where people can keep up with all your creative stuff, like the tutorials, some updates on the courses, I presume, and all your social media tags. Before we close this out, first of all, thank you for doing this. You're a very, very good friend of mine. Yes. And please just let the audience know how to support you, how to reach you, what other platforms. Do you even still use X?
Not that much, actually.
I'm switching to Blue Sky as well now.
I should, I guess. I'm waiting for how that turned out, because there was the Threads experiment, and
that
worked out.
That did not work out.
So I'm kind of like taking it slow, and I'll see how the Blue Sky works. Then I might join. I might have missed the train, but doesn't matter.
Well,
I have Instagram. My main social media page is Instagram, and I put like all the Heroes of Bronze news there. So it's very much focused on that project. And I have 2 types of content, which is one is like story.
All right, we did not talk about that. That you're actually mostly an author now, and write really nice illustrated short stories. Yeah.
Well, at this point, I'm doing what I wanted to do since I was a child, and I had those like
that's nice
illustrated books.
Yeah.
So I'm doing short stories. Instagram, and
I'm just gonna check out your Instagram to give the audience
the best thing.
Yeah.
So I'm basically writing short stories and creating the world of Heroes of Bronze at this point. And
this is all rendered by you. This is not some AI illustration, guys. This is all 3D stuff. Okay,
it's like a combination of 3D and painting. So I'm finishing my 3D renders with paint strokes and stuff.
You use Topaz? Do you still use Topaz?
Really,
not really. Oh no, you're not the Topaz guy. You do this in Photoshop. Yeah. Okay. Your stuff looks very painterly, and it's a very great way to emphasize story beats in your short stories, or just given like some of the. Actually, most of your work is character based, which is fucking impressive because making characters is. Yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard to come up with all these different types of variations, and then you have to rig them, and then you have to give them hair and the lighting. It is tough. Even just the frame is tough. So kudos on you for doing all of this.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
It's I found that for the short stories and for the written stories that I do currently, based on that Heroes of Bronze world that I created, it's actually better to have illustrations rather than 3D renders. It looked kind of weird when I put it to 3D renders.
Yeah, like straight out
written text. It didn't match, so I had to somehow make it more painterly. So that's how
it works.
That's how the style developed.
It works. Yeah. Okay.
But I'll be making another short film next year. Woo. And what I've been doing is focusing it on the Battle of Thermopylae, which is the one from the movie 300. But I'll just make it realistic.
I cannot wait for that.
Kinda. we don't actually know how it looks, but
yeah, I'm sure you will figure it out. Martin, thank you so much for doing this. Please, everybody at home, check out Martin's work. Support him if you can. Please check out the full film, Heroes of Bronze, The Journey, The Memory. It is worth a watch. If you love Assassin's Creed, you're going to love this short film. Yeah. Thank you, Martin, for doing this. Thank you, everyone at home, for watching. This was an experiment for this channel. If you don't like English interviews, let me know. But then I will put this up on the Hexabat channel. So enjoy your holidays. I guess this will launch around the holidays. So if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you are jumping into the new year, Happy New Year. And if you're already there, well, just enjoy your life. Martin, thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you very much, Chris.
And thank you guys for watching. Ciao.
Cheers.